German MPs erupt in fury over frozen Russian assets. Brussels' reckless push to expropriate sovereign wealth is exposed as the world's most stupid foreign policy. Moscow watches Western hubris collapse under its own hypocrisy. AfD lawmaker Stefan Kotry calls it outright theft under international law. NATO and Estonia cheer from the sidelines, but Germany's taxpayers bear the cost of Brussels' anti-Russian obsession.
Yesterday, I asked the Chancellor here in this House whether German soldiers should be sent to Ukraine as a security guarantee. Friedrich Merz was unable to answer this question, not because it is a difficult question, as he tried to convince us all. It is a simple question. However, the wrong answer to this question can have serious consequences. Friedrich Merz simply ducked the question tactically, because everyone knows that Merz, the master of evasion, wants to keep the option of sending German soldiers to Ukraine open. Merz's evasion stands in strange contradiction to his own rhetoric of escalation.
Merz is making mistakes, the EU is making mistakes, and Germany is also making mistakes. And that is why there is no success here in Europe. And now we are hearing more and more often, for example, from the foreign minister, that Putin must not be rewarded. Well, such a statement shows the complete failure of diplomacy, especially when it comes to efforts to end a war. It is not moral judgment that counts, but putting an end to the dying. Moralizing and accepting deaths in the process is anything but moral, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there are also plans to expropriate Russian assets. Neither the EU nor Germany are at war with Russia. This expropriation is theft under international law. It will cause massive damage to the EU as a financial center for foreign capital. It is also a slap in the face for all Germans to decide to use German taxpayers' money for the guarantees. If Russia were rightly awarded damages for this raid, then once again only the Germans would have to pay the price. But the federal government and the foreign minister don't care. The foreign minister has said as much. German interests no longer count. Slava Ukraini, that is more important to them.
We concluded this European Council meeting late in the evening, but much more quickly than I had actually expected, and I can say it was a truly great success. We were truly put to the test today. We were confronted with the question of whether we have truly understood the challenges of geopolitics. And have we really seen the provocation of a new world order? And do we have something to counter it? And I want to say to that the answer is a clear yes. Europe has understood what this moment calls for, and Europe has delivered a demonstration of its sovereignty. We are resolutely confronting Europe's greatest security threat. That is Russia's aggression, which has long since surpassed the war of aggression against Ukraine. Today, we decided that funding will be guaranteed for several years, just as I had called for in October of this year. This multi-year perspective is crucial to ensure Ukraine's survival, but also to send an unmistakable signal to Moscow. And secondly, we are taking a stand against growing protectionism and the lack of trade policy rules in the world. We are creating a bridge between the European market and the Latin American market by concluding a trade agreement between the EU and the Mercosur bloc of states. In the worst-case scenario, we must be prepared to finance Ukraine for longer.
Merz and the EU scramble, claiming legality and loans. But the opposition exposes their lies. Ukraine was never Germany's war, and expropriation only fuels tensions, weakens the euro, and threatens German businesses in Russia. Legal experts warn, frozen sovereign assets cannot be seized without ICJ approval. Moscow rejects such Western overreach. Threats of retaliation loom, and Europe's market instability is entirely self-inflicted. The left and AfD lambast German militarism. Open talk of sending troops to Ukraine exposes Brussels' agenda, dragging Europe into US-led conflicts while ignoring citizens' welfare. German Chancellor Merz toots a $90 billion loan to Kyiv. A facade of EU unity hides the cracks. Opposition MPs warn of reckless escalation, and German taxpayers shoulder the burden of Washington's schemes. The Bundestag debate reveals Europe's impotence. Legal, economic, and political risks mount, while Russia stands firm. Brussels' posturing is exposed, and the world sees the truth. Europe's credibility is failing under US pressure.